Ashley is going to start us off this hour in Tennessee. Hi, Ashley. How are you?
Hi. Hi. Good. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Well, my husband and I are making a decision or needing some help to make a decision. Some quick background. We moved to Franklin last year. We haven't lived here in about 13 years. He was in the military and we moved away. I've just moved back. We purchased a home we thought we could afford and are now basically struggling looking at a furlough. He flies for Delta Airlines, and I have taken a pay cut when we moved here to work remotely from home. So I'm making about $30,000 a year. He's making about $120 a year right now. They have him on reduced pay. Just trying to figure out where, I guess, where the chips will fall in the next coming months. So we have acquired over the past couple of years about $70,000 worth of debt. The home that we purchased turns out is a lot more work. It's about 6 acres, and we do have some animals. We've got 4 horses and 2 dogs. So it has required a lot more work and a lot more money than we expected, even though we did budget for certain things. And we are facing a decision about potentially moving to California, away from our family, which we've just moved back to. We have a daughter who's 15 months old. But out in California, he would have a backup plan. Would return to my old salary of about $80,000, and he would have an opportunity to make what he's making at Delta, and then some, so about $160. And our living expenses would actually decrease out there as well, which I know is surprising.
Yeah. No, they don't. Living expenses don't decrease in California.
Yeah.
They decrease over the farm that you live on that you got to sell, but they don't decrease over Franklin, Tennessee. Heck no.
Well, so the setup for out there would be, we would live on the property of my former. I worked out there in the racehorse industry, and the property that we would be living on would only have a rent of about $1,000 a month, and then our horses would board there at my work. So those are our 2 major costs, and so those would decrease, allowing a lot more wiggle room in our budget out there.
So Ashley, have you all actually sat down and written down the budget as far as and compare both to each other? And how much is it saving you a month?
Times. It's saving us about $6,000 a month.
Okay, I think the problem is you presented 2 options. Both suck.
Okay.
Staying where you are is ridiculous in the situation you're in.
Yeah.
You overbought. You took on more than you can handle on your plate. You're emotionally drained by this property and financially drained by this property, and that was all exposed by his furlough. It was already occurring, but it was exposed and highlighted by the furlough. But you wanted to be near your family, and you left California.
Yes.
Okay. So I think there's a third option, or a fourth option, or a fifth option, or a sixth option.
Okay.
I mean, just going back to where you came from that didn't work, so you left it, is a bad option. Staying where you are in a situation is a bad option. So, okay, here's what I heard, and you can take this for whatever you want to use it for. Okay?
Okay.
I think you got a property that you overbought by double. And I think it absolutely was an asinine purchase. And it has something to do with horses and your love for them. And I think if I'm in your shoes, I'm going to decide if I want my 15-year-old to be near their grandparents and the quality of life and the situation of the community that you're in, and move into a property that's 1/3 of what you paid this in your immediate area, and you can do that because you bought some stinking expensive real estate. Did I miss something?
Yes. No, you're 100% correct.
Okay. Now here's the hard one. No, not going to have room for any little animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it? But this is the place where you choose where you're going to raise your 15-month-old, whether you have horses. Yeah. Because these horses are killing you mathematically, because you're making all of your plans around where horses live. in this whole discussion. In both cases, you made a bad purchase here, and you're talking about making a bad decision to go back to California because in both cases there was a place for a horse. And that sounds really harsh because you're a horse person, and I understand that. But I'm just telling you, I think when you get to the end of your life, you're going to be a lot more concerned with where you raised your kid than whether or not you had horses. And in this stage of your life, for sure. So if I were in your shoes, I would consider a possible third option, among others, and you can look at others if you don't like mine. I'm fine. You're an adult. You get to do what you want to do. But it would be sell that property and all those animals and stay in the area that is half the cost, and let's get Delta Airlines back up and flying, which it will. It's just a matter of when. And it's not 2 years. It's not 2 months probably, but it's not 2 years. Let's get them back up and flying, and let's remember why you came here. And you did a good thing the wrong way when you came to Franklin, and you overbought, and you took on too much responsibility, and then you had a baby. So that's what I heard you saying. Now, you can do what you want to do, and you can be mad at me. I'm not trying to make you mad at me. I'm trying to love you well and just tell you the truth. So, but you got to decide, because it's not my horses. If you told me I had to sell my dog, I'd have to think about it a lot, because I love my dog. But not going to choose my dog over my 15-month-old either.
That's true, Dave.
So, and he better not growl at one of my grandkids again if he wants to live. So, mean little Shih Tzu. But I looked at him at this. I can take you out, boy. You know I can take you out.
Lord.
So, but yeah, that's, that it's a dog.
Yeah,
and I love my dog, but it's not my grandkids. Don't mess with my grandkids. And so you just got to lay out, okay, what are our family's priorities, and where do we want to live? Where do we want to make our life in proximity to family with a 15-month-old? And where do we want to make our life? And then later on, as you rebuild wealth, maybe you add some of these things back.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got a 7-year-old and you've become millionaires 6 years from now, and you can afford to move up in property or buy a piece of property that gives you room to have horses again at that point. But the care and feeding of very large four-legged animals is expensive.
Sure is.
They are expensive hobby. And, at best, they're expensive. So, and again, I know you love them, and I know I'm stepping all over your toes, but just want good things for you, hon. Yeah. And I think of a different option. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.